Hello everybody and welcome back to Forever and Ever. It's the Kelly Fans Podcast, season number 4, episode number 32, coming to you live from Limelight Studios. My name is Paul Montgomery and I'm joined by my co-host and friend Callum Scott. Hello mate.
How are you?
You've calmed down after your altercation outside a Rugby Park yesterday. You were swinging for the Green Brigade and all that. True or false?
We're not even 10 seconds in yet, and
just get straight into it, mate.
That atomic bomb's been dropped, man. No swinging. I'm a pacifist, mate. Everybody knows that on here. Not with my tongue right enough though, man.
But you were tested.
I was tested, aye.
It was a bit nasty, I think, outside the Grunnets. I've heard for a few folk.
I was actually happy you heard that, because some of it wasn't anything too bad, man, but just typical, like, I've not got an issue with, again, celebrating a last minute winner. We've got to come on to all these questions and folk are talking about the allocation and that, but there's just a fair few morons out there, which is hardly surprising, and the Celtic support that are looking to antagonise families coming out of a game of football, which is just bonkers.
Innocent men like you.
Innocent men, well, I can take it, mate. You know what I mean?
Aye.
But when you see the kind of folk, you see kids and that cutting about and stuff like that, it's just,
No, yes, isn't it? No.
No pretty, mate. No pretty.
No, well, we'll talk about that. Obviously, there's been loads and loads and loads happened since the last episode last week. Loads of goals we've scored and loads of goals we've conceded. We've got a new hero, and his name is Tyrese. So we'll talk about him. We'll obviously talk about St Mirren game, which seems like old news, but we'll go over it. We'll go over the Celtic game yesterday, Dundee United coming up this week. Loads and loads of messages to get through. Quick word to Jamie, who was meant to be joining us tonight, who's not been able to. He's had a bit of a family emergency, but Jamie, who helped us out last week on the Patreon, he'll be back very soon, so you'll get to meet him properly. But he's contributed to the pod this week, so just wanted to say thank you to him publicly and wish him all the very best. Some news as we were coming in: Robert Duvall has passed away. Tom Hagen for The Godfather. Shocker.
Horrendous news anyway, but again, I would like to think that everybody would know who Tom Hagen was, but particularly when we're talking about Kilmarnock here, I mean, he's been on the grunt.
He has, mate. He was Gordon MacLeod, the manager of Kilnockie. So I've actually been starred in a film with him, because I'm in it too.
Were you in? Did you turn up to go in the crowd?
Me and James Murray, aye. We were in the...
How many folk went?
It was pretty busy, mate. It was a good few thousand anyway.
It's actually pretty apt, poignant in a way that it's come out, because did you see that the footage of him was on social media recently? When I mean recently, I mean as in the last couple of days, a few accounts had tweeted him turning up to the 99 Scottish Cup final.
Oh,
and he's
right,
actually in the studio in sports scene and all that.
Aye.
So, and then there he goes. But it's obviously a sad loss, man.
Sad, and what a performer, mate. And in one of the probably 2 of the top 5 greatest films of all time, Godfather 1 and 2. Sorry, 3 of the top 10. A Shot at Glory as well.
Aye, without a doubt. And that was one of the downfalls of the third, because obviously Robert Duvall was not in the third.
That's right. They made a big error.
I think he refused to come back.
Oh, did he?
Mm-hmm.
Aye, good call. But absolute class act, man, and very, very sad news. You ever seen A Shot at Glory? Aye. Many times. How bad is Michael Keaton in it?
Oh, he is. He's terrible.
He's absolutely well.
He's
like
the
Michael
American
Keaton.
owner
He's
as
the
well.
American owner. And do you know what pisses me off so much about that film? The research. It doesn't take much, and the patter is just awful. For Michael Keaton specifically, I think he says something
like,
like,
line here.
It's not. It'll not be the exact line, but it's something along these lines. He's talking about signing Ali McCoist, Jackie McQuillan, or whatever he's called. And Robert Duvall's like, we can't do that, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, come on, man, we got to get this guy. He can do the tackles, he can do the defence, he can do the striking. Fucking hell, man.
Just says like a good goal scorer,
Somebody
man.
chap and saying, that's not really what you would say. And he's trying to move the club to Ireland as well.
That's right, aye. Although one of the best lines in cinema history was in it.
Go on.
Do you remember the big goalie in it?
John Martin.
Aye.
Oh, no. He the American guy that's the sub goalie.
No, sorry. No, the guy that's got the stutter.
Aye, that's played for Airdrie and all that.
Aye.
Right.
And then he's like, and then it's the Queen of the South Cup game or whatever, and he gets nutmegged or whatever, and then he's Robert Duvall's obviously going through them at half time, and he's like, I'm sorry, Gaffer, I should have shot my legs, and he's like, and so should your mother.
Yes, that's where like the dressing room part we're accustomed to in this part of the world.
So they cut across that, alright, but I do agree, and it was really bad. Even again, we're talking well before CGI and stuff like that, I suppose, but even with like the Ali McCoy stuff, when it's like obviously that's just a McEwan's lager.
Aye, I know. It's so poorly done, innit? But anyway, it's actually a funny film to watch if you get the chance. And Robert, he's done a bit for this parish anyway.
Yes, aye.
And, aye. So Rest in peace, Mr. Duval. Quick message before we get on to the Fat Bar. No, I just want to say hello and thank you to JD, who's a paramedic. I had another incident on Friday with my dad. He's absolutely fine, but the service we got for the paramedics was sensational. And JD's a Kelly fan. I never get his name, but hopefully he gets this and appreciates and accepts my warm wishes and regards.
Aye, excellent.
Top man.
Good to hear, but more importantly that Sandy is alright, because I was like, I was like, here we go, man.
Trying to give me a bloody heart attack, so he is. Anyway, he nearly did another one yesterday watching that football, man, but we'll go into that in a second. Right, mate, well, we get cracking, man, so let's we'll go back and do the St Mirren stuff quickly. Brilliant win, very, very much needed. Really entertaining game, just what you're wanting at this stage of the season. We're a totally different beast, mate. I think we need to get that out the road now. In terms of where we were about a month ago, I thought we were dead and buried. I thought we were worse than we were under Kettlewell, which was quite an impressive feat. But really entertaining game, brilliant win. Headlines are obviously taken by John Jules, who scores an absolutely sensational hat-trick. The first goal in particular is phenomenal. Just briefly then, mate, give us your thoughts on Wednesday night's win against St Mirren.
Huge for so many reasons, because firstly it was one of the games that we circled to be like, right, if we've got any hope of getting out this 11th place, then this is the game that you really have to win and put that bit of pressure on St Mirren. Of course, one of the worst possible starts given the fact that you get down a goal, but the response is brilliant. But then for it to happen again straight after half time, you're thinking, oh, here we go, what is this got to be one of these ones where we just don't get out? But to bounce back twice was unbelievable and well worth our win. And there was that period in the second half where we created a good few chances and the ball just wasn't getting in. So you're always thinking, is it got to be one of these nights? But again, a huge help was John Jules, just absolutely on form. We've been praising him for the last couple of weeks anyway. And it was absolutely outstanding. And I mean, I loved as much as the first goal was brilliant. The second gets it in the second bite, but it's his hat trick for me. Just obviously the ball up for D's, but the way he just rolls the defender and calmly slots it past the goalie was just top striker work, man. And it was a great result. And again, the gloss goes off at a wee tiny bit with them scoring at the end. They never deserved that, and it maybe makes it look a wee bit closer than it was. I think like 4-2 would have looked like a hell. Well, of course it would look better than 4-3, but I think that was a slight injustice to us. But at the end of the day, we had to win, and we did. Aye,
and a word and off for Finlay Curtis's cross for Kilty's goal. It just feels like a while where we've had somebody who's been able to do that. Like probably Chris Burke, I'm going back to that, somebody that's had that ability, that kind of technique. It's just something so beautiful about a cross like that, mate. It's such a caress, man. Just that curl, it just takes the goalie out, takes all the defenders out. Kilty finished well. Kilty's come on to a game and all, by the way.
Been
wee word for Greg, he's been very good. But I'm really impressed with Curtis, and I wasn't sure about him playing right back. I thought we would try and here, but ultimately it worked.
And it was interesting to hear McCann talk post-match about that, about how he ended up changing based on St Mirren's system, which again, they always says, can focus on us. But I think it was with that in mind, because he just knew that he would have the freedom of that right hand side, and knew if he went forward like say lines or whatever, was able to tuck in there. But Curtis to go and make your debut and play it right back, really out of position, and he didn't flinch, did he? And so good with both feet as well.
And physical. I didn't realise. I just thought we were getting a kind of quick winger in. But looks the part, mate. Like for his age, decent in the air, physical, can tackle, can pass. Obviously, you can see why he's so highly rated. And he's going to be a massive player for us, mate, between now and the end of the season, isn't he?
Aye, he's got to play every week, hasn't he?
Aye.
And especially now that we'll come on to with the situation with John Jules, that was our hero. But again, unfortunately, circumstances have went against us with that yesterday as well. But Curtis is some exposure for him to go and prove why he is at Rangers and really stake his claim to go and play there consistently next season. So
I work with a guy, Gary, who's a huge Rangers fan, and he said to me last week, he was like, I would never have let him go, because I think he's got so much to contribute, and he actually thinks he's not going to be like one of these guys that goes out on loan and then gets in and out of the Rangers team and he gets back and ends up maybe going down south. He's like, he'll be Rangers' main man, I think, in the next couple of seasons. He rates him that highly, so
aye, well, that's huge.
Credit has to go to McCann and Dodds for getting it over the line.
It's exactly the kind of signings that you want to make, innit? When you look at a manager coming in, you always think, right, who they worked with before, what can they do? And sometimes you don't really see it come to fruition. I mean, we've seen it firsthand with McInnes, where whole heap of ex-Aberdeen players rocking up at Rugby Park, and even Stuart Finlay the second time under McInnes's reign signing. But when McCann and Dodds got the job, Finlay Curtis was the first player that I've really thought of. Kind of breaking onto the scene at Rangers and thinking, I wonder whether we can get him on loan, and thankfully we did. A really good night's work, mate, and it dragged St Mirren back in. It's just made everything that much closer. We're obviously now in this fight now, which we weren't. We definitely weren't. We were talking more about not finishing bottom. You were on the BBC's, you were on Sports Sound talking about that, and you were more worried about Livingston catching us. We've got that wee gap now. Dundee, St Mirren are definitely in the mire with us. Cut to Sunday, we got up 2-0 against Celtic, mate. It's what dreams are really made of. It had shades of that famous 3-0, the man that saved Lennon's job. That's what I was thinking about anyway. Everything you want for their performance in a big game like that. Flying out the traps, getting right after them, making things very, very difficult. Obviously Lyons goes down, you thought you were getting a penalty, but you've got to put all that to the side, and you've got to talk about John Jules' finish, mate, because it's just about as good a goal. Maybe they're not the most spectacular goal that you'll ever see, but in terms of technique, how long he's got the ball in his end, shifts it onto the right foot, everything you want for a centre forward. An absolutely fantastic goal, and what a player he's turning into for us. Without doubt. We'll come on to his strike partner just after, but the finish alone was just, there's nobody else really that's able to produce that bit of magic. And we're on here every week, well, the last few weeks, talking about John Jules and saying that he saw different types of goals, and there was an early one. I mean, the way to take that and bend it round the goalie, who's at times been highly rated, Schmeichel, but again, we can maybe kick him back onto him that he doesn't cover himself in glory for the second goal, nor John Jules' free kick. But just an unbelievable finish, and one of the ones that you see with somebody that has played at a higher level. And again, that does seem to be the cut above with that, but it's just so disappointing that he's come off with that injury, man. Well,
it's a heartbreaker, mate, and I think you could see it in his face that it wasn't I always worry when it's not a tackle, when it's not an impact thing, when there's nobody near him and he goes down and he goes straight for that leg, and then his face is buried in his shirt, and you can see it in his face that he knows something's went wrong. And it is just such hard luck for us as a club because of how well he's been playing. But you feel for him too. He done that interview last week where he was answering questions, and he spoke a wee bit about how desperate he is for him to stay fit, because he's now finally hitting his straps, mate. He's fin in form. He's been absolutely brilliant for us. I mean, I texted you the other night and I was like, mate, this guy could be potentially a top 10 ever for us, because he's got everything here. And if he poos us out the mire and scores 15 goals this season, he's right up there, mate, in terms of like how good he is and his impact. So so disappointed for him, mate. No news yet. Maybe no news is good news. But it was awful to see him, because he plays a huge part in Hugo's goal to 8, and then he nearly scores with that one that hits the bar. It's devastating for him, mate, and potentially really damaging for us.
It was. When you see him break away with the ball, and it was exactly that, because there was a few folk kind of around about me that thought he was fouled. I was like, no chance. He just went straight down there. Like, I thought it was his hammy that popped as well. But again, I'm actually in the same boat as you, where again, by the time this is out, we'll maybe get the devastating news of how long he will be out for. But I have a feeling that although it is bad, and I mean, he's definitely got to be missing for a period, but with no news immediately, I'm starting to feel a wee bit hopeful that it's maybe not as bad as anticipated. It was more his reaction and stuff like that when you come off. It was as if he'd known this injury before. It was something that he's already experienced. And it was devastating to see him come off the park like that, when you're just starting to think, you're thinking, this guy's he'll keep us up. He will keep us up. For him to come off with that. And I've been hearing rumours as well that he has signed an extension.
Well, I mean, that is the good news. You said that in the call on the way down here, that there are rumours abound that he is extending his stay with the club, because I actually had a fear last night when I watched the highlights back, thinking, I wonder if that's the last we ever see him, because he'll definitely be attracting interest. Falsey and me were texting last week, and I was like, can the Patrick Bateman gif thing where he's like, ooh, I was like, that'll be Wigan and Bradford watching John Jules. But so if he's signed a deal, that's just an amazing thing for us, man, because like I said, mate, we've been needing a hero. We really have been crying out for a talisman, and he's over the last month became that. So fingers crossed, mate, that the injury isn't too bad. We've been all season talking about I'd shake hands on 10th. I would shake hands on a month out the now. See if he was going to miss the next 5 or 6 games, but we get him for the run in. I would accept that, man. I'd be quite happy because it looked bad.
You absolutely would, and especially if you're kind of talking him maybe only as that kind of 4 or 5 weeks, which would be great news, really, if I'm looking at it, because with exactly what you said there, with the reaction of him coming off, you're thinking, well, this is him ruled out for the season at the very least. You would absolutely take that, particularly when you're out the Scottish Cup and stuff, so you know you're getting a free week at the beginning of March and stuff like that.
Good point, too, man.
Getting the extra time in there. But again, to draw the attention on his strike partner as well, I thought that he was one of the big differences first half as well. I thought Hugo was absolutely brilliant, man. Big thing for me, the way he stretches defences.
Yes.
But the biggest impact for him was, I love these touches into space where he knows John Jules has got to be. He doesn't stop, he doesn't look, he doesn't try to buy a foul. And it's shown in the first goal. That's what he does. The ball comes long to him and he clips it into an area where he knows where his strike partner should be running onto it. We saw it against St Mirren. We cross it in for John Jules' second to put us up 3-2. Again, left foot right away, just knows where he should be.
Great runs, mate. I thought that at Ibrox actually. For the wee cameo, I thought there's something tasty here by the way about this guy, and you're spot on, man.
And it's just again so typical, because I think the two of them, they'll rip it up down there, man. But no, the one of the positives you can see is right. Hugo's came in, he played well again. Obviously ran out of steam and understandably ran himself into the ground. Scored a goal and he looks well up for it. So again, for him to come in and take over for John Jules, at least in the interim, is a positive, and again a better position than we were 4 weeks ago. Get what I mean? So again, credit's got to go to the recruitment for that, because his header's brilliant as well. It's a great header.
It's absolutely sensational. He did. It's great work by John Jules, a great wee cross. But I mean, there's no right to score that goal. Again, I don't think the goalie looks great, but even then, mate, like it's very, very kind of unorthodox in terms of the finish. But he's there to make the finish, and I thought he gave Celtic hell, mate. Like I think you can tell, right? So again, we never wins in this podcast for having a go at individual football players, but you really can see the difference between Hugo and John Jules to Dackers and Anderson in terms of like their football credentials, mate. Like these are two guys that have come through at two of the biggest clubs in the world, right? Man United and Arsenal. And that doesn't always count for anything, mate, because these guys sometimes come up here and they swagger about and they've maybe not got the physical gifts, but these guys look like they're pros too, and they've got that wee bit extra quality. So I think that's the only positive, that the John Jules thing doesn't look great, but that you've got somebody fresh, somebody physical, and somebody that's got a goal in them ready to step in.
Aye, without doubt, and that's the only thing that we've really got to get behind at this stage. And again, he's showed for his cameos. He went and get the assist at St Mirren, but to go and score against Celtic as well, he'll be thinking, right, I'm confident that I can go and score another 5 or 6 goals at least, Ken, to the end of the season if he's playing every week, and that's the way you've got to look at it. When you're talking about personnel again, you gave a quick mention, but I thought Kilty was excellent again, playing in that 10. Been given that kind of responsibility, and again it's even his ball for the first goal as well, so it's him that digs it into Hugo, and Hugo makes the touch to John Jules and they're away. So just to see the three of them, and again 3 football players, man. I mean, you're now seeing what we're trying to do under McCann and Dodds. And the first half was excellent, and we all knew that. We put so much into it, but at half time I'm sitting talking to a few folk and I'm like, and you're never for a minute trying to say that up 2-0 against Rangers and Celtic's a bad thing. Of course it's no, you take it all the time, but for the Diddy teams, it's such a precarious position.
Well, how often do you see it, mate? Against both Celtic and Rangers, and then, as you said before we came on here, the next goal was everything. We go and score that goal, you don't lose the game, right? Could end up 3 each, as we've experienced, but as soon as Celtic score, mate, you just seen it, and it's just, you can't stop the tidal wave momentum, mate. You just can't stop it, and it's, I thought although when it went to 2 each, we settled again. But I mean, defensively, we are not a good team, mate. Like, to me, the only saving grace is you're getting Brandon's nearly back. He comes in for me. I think Shoning Larsson looks like a really good fit. I don't think he's the best defender, although he had a couple of 1-on-1s I thought he did really well in. But he goes to left back, and you can change the goalie, mate. Get Max Stryjek back in goals. He was the guy who was gaining the defenders' confidence for me, mate. So Big Roos, whatever, man, he's come in and done. He's lost an awful lot of goals for me, mate. No all have his fault, of course, but that's the saving grace that I think we've got. we can change the goalie, mate, and I would be hoping we do that for Saturday.
I have a feeling that, because I know a lot of folk were wanting Max back in for the Celtic game, but I'm not saying that there was a ultimate anticipation that we would go and concede 2, 3, 4 goals or whatever, but I think that it was maybe kind of wise management to an extent for McCann and Dodds to think, right, we got to put Max, he's no kicked a ball for, you know, nearly 4 months or whatever here now. We've got to throw him in against Celtic when we've been leaking goals anyway, and put him under that bit of pressure, whereas I think now there'll be no qualms whatsoever if Roos gets dropped now.
He's lost too many goals.
Is ready to come back in, been on the bench the last couple of weeks, and I have a feeling that he could be back in Saturday. And I put Brandon in the same category as that. It was good to see him come on against the Mirren, which was huge, thinking good to have him back, man. But again, to be maybe thrown in to go directly up against Maeda was
it's maybe not the best time for him.
And we knew that when, remember, he kept well brought back in at Ibrox and he got absolutely torn to shreds. So again, maybe the management, I did think he would go on, but obviously that never came to fruition. But you're right, just the minute we get into that second half, and the minute Celtic scored that first goal, you're just like, oh no. But it was so strange because, and I think that, to be fair, I'm going to come on to the subs separately, but I think one of the only sub that gets close to pass marks for me was Tish, and I still didn't think Tish was great, to be honest, but I thought that he'd come on, and that was probably a key reason in why we were able to settle a wee bit more, because the minute Celtic equalised, I'm like, right, well, they've definitely won it now, like they'll go and score again, and then they just fell out the game for the next, again, 15-20 minutes. And I thought, if anything, not that we were the team that are more likely going and won it, but we still had a couple of chances with the John Jules hitting the crossbar. Daze has got to score that header, man.
He's got to hit the target, and he's got to make the goalie work.
I knew if you were where I was sitting, I was like, he's got to score. I goes, how's he got under that there? He's like, I couldn't understand it. And again, Celtic didn't do too much, but I just thought that the subs, and I'm no want to come on here and hammer individuals. It's no our style. I don't like it, but I've got to call it as I see it here, man. And I thought that Polworth and Anderson were anonymous. I honestly can't remember Polworth touching the ball. I remember Anderson coming onto the ball at one point. It was quite close to me. But big dackers, man. And I'm just like, and you feel, and he'll know that himself, man. And he's shown before that he can contribute. But I'd go as far as saying that Big Dackers was a hindrance when he came on. Everything broke down when it got to him. He did not keep a hold of the ball once.
His first touch was a header back towards his own defence. You feel for it. And honestly, that's probably the one negative of John Jules coming in and playing as well as he has, and Hugo coming in. You can see the difference in quality, mate. Like, I think some folk are done with Dackers already. I don't personally believe he's a Killie player next year anyway. I just don't think it'll work out that way. But most folk are like, oh no, you can see a wee bit there, and he's scored a couple of good goals, and he's got the odd touch, but the all-round game, mate, is like, to me, the likes of John Jules are on a different level. Probably even Anderson's on a different level, mate, and I think Anderson's far better served as an impact player in terms of for us. But I felt for Dackers yesterday, and I do wonder how many more times we're going to see the big man, because I don't think he'd have came on yesterday. No. Because of the way it unfolded. No, exactly, because I remember even a couple of minutes before he was due on, I seen him walking down the front, and he still had, I think he had his trackies, a big jacket on, so he didn't look Ken, and it was just purely because of the injury to John Jules that he came on. And again, hindsight's a wonderful thing, of course it is, but I respect the fact that McCann and Dodds were still like, no, we're putting a striker on. But you know, I think Ken Rory would have been a better option, man. Even maybe Brandon to come into the middle of the park or something like that. And to try and get that wee bit of control, because everything did it just stopped sticking up there. But it stopped sticking even before Dackers come on. But the minute he did, there was no hope, and that showed at times, because every ball that went up to him, it never stuck. Celtic just kept coming back at us. And we're going to the third goal. Let's quickly go into it, mate. I mean, the horror show that you could see unfolding, and that punch in the gut that we're all too familiar with, unfortunately, as Killie fans. But I mean, 2 or 3 instances, mate, not even just in the actual goal itself, where we don't cover whistle and glory, but the one where Thompson's trying to shepherd it out, it just sends such negative energy into the ground, man. You're like, mate, hook that out of the park, mate. Just get rid of it. And you're just like, it just shows no confidence, man. It shows like a misplaced bravado to try and shield that out in front of that Chadwick stone, mate. It's like, no, man. And I thought for there, we just went right into our shells, and there's 2 or 3 different errors. I mean, the second goal for me is horrific and all, but the third one's obviously the killer, and to knock him out with a point was a sair one, man. But aye, the defensive performance is not good enough, mate.
And I think that Thompson's got a hand in the second as well, folk will forget, but the long throw comes in for him running the ball at the park up there, instead of just clearing it up the line. So again, we're put under that pressure at the edge of our own box, and I know it's rare you see Celtic taking long throw-ins, but that's now 2 goals in the last 2 games we've conceded for long throw-ins, no defend our box. And the defend for the second goal was atrocious. The third goal, we are just like, oh my God, it's just. And again, I saw Tish getting a bit of criticism because he looks like he turns too slow, but
I could maybe get there quicker, possibly.
But it's on his blind side as well, because it's no his man. Like,
and it's a very good finish for that guy, Tate, to be fair, mate.
It's on his weak foot as well. His left foot puts it in, and you're just like, you've seen that. And see, the thing was, again, I was talking about being wound up after it. Seeing that happened, I was like, I just knew this was going to happen now, man. I knew it was going to happen, and I was pretty kind of calm. It was more just after the game I was starting to get myself wound up with dealing with too many Celtic fans. But I was even at the stage, even though I said I seen it coming, but I was like, I would have been so disappointed with a point, given how well we played first half, and we still created second half. We weren't anywhere near as good. You
just shouldn't lose the game, ultimately, and we're trying to be mega positive because it's been so much better, mate, in the past 3 or 4 weeks. But really, you're paying the price for no having a Joe Wright, mate, a Stuart Finlay. You're paying the price there because all you're needing is a leader, mate, to calm everybody down, heat things, kick them out the park, and take the 2 each draw. And we got up the road, and it's the 4 points that we thought, wow, we're right in amongst this here, and we just didn't have it, mate. And it was really, really gutting. But there's questions on that, and we'll get round to all them as we go, mate. So right, we'll take a very, very short break, everybody, for a word from our wonderful sponsors at Allied Surveyors Scotland, Nick Davis, and then we come back and we've got all your questions on the KillyFC.com forums and the X. Allied Surveyors have been carrying out valuations and home reports across Ayrshire and in Kilmarnock for over 20 years. Company director and lifelong Kelly fan Nick Davis is based here at 91 John Finney Street and is here to help you if you've got any questions or queries or are looking to get your home sold. Huge thank you again to Nick Davis, who will have been billing himself. I met
him on the way in.
Oh, did you meet Nick?
I met him on the way in, so he said his recovery's coming along all right.
But he's an elbow injury.
But it was good to see him in the way into the ground. But he'll be fuming like
the other
4,000 years.
It was a same one. But huge thank to Nick, and obviously if anybody's got any questions round about getting your property surveyed or whatever, Nick is 100% the guy. Great Kelly fan, top man, and he'll definitely help you out. Right, okay, mate, loads and loads of things to get through, mate. We were remiss last week. We were meant to read out a message for Andy Taylor, who's been a big supporter of the pod.
So we were, and it came on to the Patreon.
He put it in the Patreon. So Andy Taylor, his girlfriend, specifically Kim, we're just giving you a shout out, and we're not going to give away any more information about Kim. She knows why she's getting the shout out, and she knows why we can't say any more.
That's really good for us. We rode a pint for Andy if he sees us.
Exactly. But Kim, we're glad you're enjoying the podcast, and we hope you're enjoying the blue and white motif that we have here. And sorry your game was called off on Saturday. Right, we've got loads and loads of questions here. We'll get through them as quickly as we possibly can, as we always do. We're going to do All Roads Lead to Killy as well at the end.
You've done it, man.
I've done it, mate.
So now I'm under the pressure to deliver the goods, man.
I've done it for us. Right, we got a message on Instagram for Scott Jenkinson. He was doing the 90-minute Tims, adding up the injury time. Right, he reckons it was pretty much bang on 7 minutes.
So I've actually, and I was actually saying to Stu before we came on there as well, I'm not as bothered about that at all, because there was there was a couple of head knocks and that, and I noticed McCanny didn't just say it once, he said it in every single interview he was in, which I'm a bit like, and at the end of the day, if we defend properly, we never lose that game. It's down to that. So I've honestly got no issue with the 7 minutes.
Nah, right. He says, I'm a massive fan of Larsson. Thought we played brilliant yesterday. The question is, do you boys ever use a biscuit as a straw in a cup of tea? And if so, what biscuit? A plain Rocky with a red wrapper. Bite off both ends and soak up the tea through it. Game changer. Getting straight to the serious stuff here, mate.
I need to try it.
That was 30 minutes of football we done there, to be fair, so let's get into the biscuit stuff. Love you boys, thanks for keeping me occupied on the Friday trip home from down south. You're so welcome, mate. I'll need to catch up with you soon, actually, man. So you into a biscuit with your tea?
Oh, I love biscuit with my tea, man. That's why I always compensate, because folk will say, oh, do you take sugar in your tea? I'm like, no. They're like, oh, good for you. I'm like, no, but make up for it with about the 9 biscuits I have for every cup of tea. But I know that's the Rockies is a funny story, but I can't come on to it on air. But do you know the story with your cousin, Stevie Smith?
Vaguely, you need to tell me after.
Something to do with a job interview or something.
Oh, aye, that's right. What a boy. Right, the Nav got in touch. Ali, I missed Ali yesterday. I'd like to have seen him, but I'll see him soon. Right, okay, my question. Has Billy Bowie now earned the right to have a strip dedicated to him? We did it for QTS and all they did was sponsor us for a while. Should we do the same for Billy Bowie? And if so, how would it be received? And he's done a wee mock-up here. Don't know if you'll be able to see that on the camera.
It's obviously based on
like
the tankers.
The tankers, an away strip.
We'll put it in the Twitter either way.
See what folk think. You think we should do that for Bowie?
That's it. But I mean, I'm sure if Bowie wants it, he'll get it. And all joking aside, we all know that the ground in that's renamed and the training ground.
It's looking sensational, by the way. The training ground,
the development is incredible, and again, such positive things to look forward to if we just get out of this mess this season, which I'm now confident that we will not necessarily finish in 10th, but I believe if it comes to the playoff, we'll have enough.
I think so too.
We'll have enough.
Second question, if I may, with the pitch being replaced, we'll probably be away from home in the first or last fixture this season, right? Obviously you get that. Maybe 2 games even, and quite possibly the League Cup fixtures. If that's the case, where would you rather the games were held at? Right? So if Rugby Park's no ready, right? So we're not ready, we need to play a game. Would you rather have it at Bowie Park with a limited capacity of 250, town home and everyone can watch from Dean Street? A game. What about a game at Scott Ellis or another SPFL ground such as Hamilton, Queen's Park or Broadwood? Thanks for listening to my ramblings.
So the hypothetical side there, obviously funny because I'm taking it for that as opposed to the actual logistics, because they'd probably just make us play away for him and catch the games up.
Aye, they would.
But with that, it would obviously be funny as anything to see it somewhere in Kelly, but it's just never got to happen.
Where would we play, do you think? That's a good question. If we had to play a home game and Rugby Park wasn't ready, where do you think we would be?
Oh, like with everything on the table?
Like genuinely. It's quite hard to figure out, isn't it? Because obviously when you go to Ayr, you're going to play at Ayr.
Hampden, man.
Hampden, I think that's probably the closest.
No, I just think that, I don't know.
Quite tough, isn't it?
Whether they would maybe leases it for a game, especially with the fact that Queen's Park, well, no, just use Lesser Hampden all the time.
Interesting.
But I don't know.
Don't know where we would play.
Ground share with Motherwell.
Talbot.
Unlucky Talbot.
Right, let's go to the KillyFC.com forums. LH31 says, why can't we defend? And Slippers also says, how do we stop shipping 3 goals a game with the players at our disposal? So there's a few different things there. So for me, change the goalie very quickly. I think your back 4 is Shoning Larsson on the left with Brandon on the right. So I'll tell you what I'm worried about the centre halves, right? I think Shelty Brown's been fantastic. I thought he was absolutely brilliant at Ibrox despite losing 5 goals. I just worry a wee bit slightly. I just wish we could take him out. Do you know what I mean? And protect him slightly. Wish we had somebody to just take him out and bring some, and then maybe bring him back in again in a couple of weeks. Just shipping an awful lot of goals. I worry about his confidence. So I don't know, mate. I mean, Dees isn't going to get dropped. Many people calling for it. I think there's definitely a case for it. How would you feel if on Saturday we line up and it's Stryk in goals and the back 4's Shoning Larsson, Mayo, Stanger and Brandon?
Well, you would be. I think it would give a lot of folk a lift, to be honest. With that, because you can't. You know, it's the elephant in the room with the individual errors that are costing us week in, week out, and unfortunately Dees and Thompson have been a big part of that. But it would obviously send out the message that neither can be trusted, which I don't think is maybe the right message to send out. And again, I think the Mayo's been poor all season as well. Don't get me wrong, I want him back as an option, and we know the levels that he can get to. And again, you're talking about that. I'm very much. I think that Larsson looks the part.
Definitely looks good enough for me.
Again, I hope. Well, no, I hope I eat my words here, but I just don't see McCann dropping Thompson. I think McCann really likes Thompson. And folk will say that he played very well until the last period of the game. Again, I thought he was okay. He done well in spells, but I still put some of the second goal, the defending's calamitous with Dees and Shelty Brown in the box and everything else in between. But for me, it all comes from Thompson running the ball at the park.
He's just never a defender, mate, in his life. Like, again, I've seen a lot worse players for Killie, and I do think he's got qualities, but he's just never a left back, mate. He's got no defensive instincts. It's just no in him. Like, I swear, I do think he works hard. Like, I do try,
and he doesn't hide.
And he's definitely a good athlete, mate. But I'm like, he's just, for me, never a left back. No, when you're needing your left back today, left back hangs, mate. Stop crosses, win headers at the back post, get rid of the ball at the right times. I just don't think he's that way inclined, mate.
Well, there is no coincidence with the amount of goals we're conceding on that left hand side.
No.
With both him and Dees there now, which is, and again, the big frustrating thing, and we keep going over it, is the two of them will be well aware of that. They'll know their flaws, they'll know the situation, and it's just it's brutal. But I think they do need to change something.
Aye, be interesting to see what happens. Right, the audience says, and we've got a few questions along this vein. Is it time to reduce the away allocations for Celtic and Rangers again? Seats getting wrecked standing on the concourse and a total lack of policing. So Jai 1869 also said, should Dom Thompson be dropped? Defensive liability. We've kind of covered that, mate. Aye, right, so there's a few questions about this. What's your take on it, mate? It obviously got a wee bit kind of wild at full time. Folk running up to the Storm. I mean, it's happened for years and years and years. Personally, mate, should we do it? Maybe. Will we do it? No. It was like there's another big thread on the forums, and somebody had asked us to talk about that too, in terms of like the chance that you're used to the stuff. I mean, Brad Lyons was getting it yesterday and he was lying maybe concussed.
Aye, that was wild. The free kick, I didn't even actually notice it. Usually I've got a good ear for songs on both sides there, but I didn't hear it, and it was free kick turned and said to me, I was like, how outrageous is that?
Aye, ridiculous, man. He's an orange bastard and all that stuff, and it's like, but it's no gonna stop. It's like, it's just no gonna stop.
What you said, I think it's worse now than it was.
I think it's a lot worse in the last 10 or 15 years, because I think there's a big portion of the supports who don't actually know what that means. I think 25 years ago, that stuff, it was taboo, mate. Like, it was in the news all the time. The folk were actually getting killed, mate, over it. Wasn't it like something to be joked about? It wasn't something to just wave about on a day at the fitba. And I think that's come back into it now. And folk sing these songs and say these words and don't really know the depth of meaning to them. But I don't think it will change, mate, because I don't think there's any will for it to change for the within. And I just, and the mob mentality is there, mate, and I just don't think it will change. And reduce the allocation, but what? It'll just be the 2,000 that'll do it. You know what I mean? So, and we'll just miss it. So, it's painful, mate, but I just don't see it changing.
Nah, and to follow on the points, you're exactly right. I think that it has now became almost socially acceptable, like with some kind of outrageous chants and behaviours. I recall being on a train to Glasgow recently, and there was no Old Firm game. There was, who's the wee guy, Dylan John Thomas or something?
Oh,
like
aye.
He was playing at Hydro or something like that, and the train, we were on our way to Motherwell, and the train was mobbed. I was like, what's going on, kind of thing. But it was a group, and it was like all these wee guys and lasses and all that, and then at one point they were all like singing "Ooh Up the Ra" and all that, and I'm like, 20 years ago in a train for Kelly, that just would never happen. Like, mate, but now you're just like, okay, and again, and I think that a lot of it's more so with the kind of Celtic side, the way it is now, that seems to be a lot more forthcoming than it once was. Whether that's to do with the success of the Fitba Club or not, you and I were talking about this. I've got a few interesting theories on it, but there's certainly a lot more Celtic fans now than there was 20 years ago.
Aye,
and around Kilmarnock in the smaller towns.
Aye, so it's painful, man, but I just can't see it changing. Baz says, how long is it going to take you how to learn to tag podcast posts with podcast on here?
It's obviously you he's talking to, isn't it?
Sorry about it.
Nah, I'll get that sorted. I didn't realise how important it was to Baz, so I'll make sure I get that sorted. It's particularly for all Baz does for us.
Exactly, mate. What a guy. Right, Mathematics says, how do you prepare your porridge? Have you ever stirred a mate's porridge? from the current squad and managerial team, who is porridge with salt and water, porridge with milk and sugar, cornflakes, and whatever's next in the variety pack, and whatever their mum makes them? You into porridge?
I like porridge oats.
Porridge?
Aye, but I'm going to expose myself here, man. I like ready break.
What a baby,
I
man.
know.
You have that with your rusks before the playgroup.
But I like,
absolute 2-year-old.
but I like,
You want to get battered aside the grun, you see a wee baby, man.
And that a day put plenty of sugar into, by the way, which is brilliant. You come round to my bit one day, I'll make you a good bowl of ready bread,
Excellent,
man.
mate.
When we get back into the proper winter seasons, man, right?
Porridge with salt and water gives...
Billy Dodge, man, got to be, no?
You think so, aye?
Aye, because his granny made it and you come up, man, and he started to eat it that way.
Right.
And you're English if you eat it with sugar, apparently. So,
Right, who you think has the milk and sugar then?
Don't know.
John Jules was saying he has pancakes and eggs before every game.
Aye, that's right. Aye, it was a strange shoot.
Porridge with milk and sugar, cornflakes. You remember variety pack?
Aye, but you still get them.
You still get them, aye?
Aye, what is them when you get the wee mini
Jamie
box,
Oliver with a cancel
the
them or
wee
something?
mini boxes of cereal?
Aye.
Oh, and they're like, aye.
What was your favourite out of them? What would you go to? You're a
Man,
Cocoa Pops guy.
Cereal's my big king, man.
Aye.
Oh, it's
Best cereal ever.
asking a loaded question then, man.
Right.
Don't ever get in the...
Let's forget all the stuff about the IRA and all that. Get straight down to the real business here. What's your favourite cereal, mate?
It depends what... Because I love bran flakes and all that. I love cornflakes. But
Right.
then I like the treats as well.
Mm-hmm.
Evidently. But Golden Grahams. And they're rare to get, man.
Aye, excellent. A
Very
good
rare
cereal.
to get. Julie says you get them in Iceland or the farm foods in Goston.
What about cinnamon grahams?
Cinnamon Grahams are good, I know.
Very good.
Golden Grahams are good though, but they're rare, man.
Special K?
Special K is brilliant.
Crunch Nut Cornflakes.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Greatest cereal all time, you can't get it anymore. Start.
Start?
Do you remember Start?
No.
Aye, Start was
What was
immense,
that?
man. It was like it was almost like, oh God, it was almost like a honey nut loop, but there was three of them kind of stuck together. It was like, I think Daley Thompson or somebody. Ken Daley Thompson?
What, the diver?
The heptathlete, the decathlete. No, you're thinking the what's that guy called?
Tom Daly.
Daly.
Right.
Generational shift here, man. Both in our
I was thinking,
30s.
sure I would have known this if it was...
It was like the athletes' cereal. Start.
Right.
It was obviously just loaded with sugar, so they've got an idea. But anyway, that's a great question. One we'll come back to.
Muesli and that's good or not?
Usually is good. Scouser says there's been numerous changes to our defence throughout the season, yet the same kind of mistakes. You think with now having better quality in attacking areas that will somehow score more goals than we concede to keep us up.
You've got to hope so.
That's got to be the hope.
One of the big things is, right, I would be making the bold point, see if how do we win that yesterday. I'd be like, right, we're 100% finishing 10th or above.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think now, I kind of sent you a text last week. I still think it will be as it is the now going into the split. But by that point, we've all caught up in games, and therefore it would be in our own hands because we've got some more than that still to play. But again, we've got to beat Livy at home, we've got to beat Dundee at home.
Aye.
So that's my prediction. I still think we could easily still be in 11th place, but we're well with it. I mean, 1-1 against one of them, we're out.
I think that's a good point. I fancy us to be running about 29-30 points now going into the split,
Which was mental because we couldn't see that coming at all.
Aye, it's going to be exciting, man. The Bullet says when you're trying to see a game, why was Mackenzie not chosen for some strikers? Barbino says, do you think it's theoretically, physically, psychologically, or philosophically possible to ever take the Killie?
Never.
Impossible,
Never can
mate.
be done, man.
Eggy says, any reports of Dackers out in the sauce and Killie on Saturday night?
I'd hope so, and then there's a reason for
A
that.
reason for it,
Because
man.
McCann was going for him as well, man. I think we've got a question about the
McCann going mental in the background. I like that, man.
I love it. And Dodds as well, by the way.
Aye.
Dodds, I think him and Lions had a wee kind of ding dong on Wednesday night when Lions came off the park.
He wasn't too happy about it.
And Dodds was right on at Jack Thompson at the end of the game as well, right in front of me, and well, in front of the support. And you seen him, and he was gone because Thompson tries to drill that ball across the park, and we lose it. I think that's where Celtic then get back into our half. They don't leave for, but I like that, man. I really like that.
Aye.
The two of them evidently really cared, given the fact that they're in the position. But I like that wee bit of old school. I like it.
Never piss off a porridge and salt, man.
Aye.
That would be my advice to the young football players.
What do you think, though, to go back to the roasted cheese thing, man? What do you think his ratio to salt and pepper would be in his roasted cheese?
I just think he loads it up with both, man.
With both?
Aye. Worcester sauce, maybe, if he's feeling it. Liam Perrins.
Maybe on the odd slice.
No, on every slice. Got to keep the body guessing, man. Right, McLean gets in touch and says, one of you thought we were criticised unfairly in the media for low attendances when they were amongst the highest per head of population. Jim Thompson then commented in the pod that we had thousands of empty seats that were all squeezed in with too little room. I think one of the reasons we get criticised more than, say, Motherwell is that the home ends are still too big and the banks of empty seats make the crowd look smaller. Isn't the two birds with one stone solution that we start a rolling programme of spacing out the seats, be more comfortable to watch and create a better image and atmosphere? The trust could help fund it. Would you think of that?
Absolutely agree with that. I think that it makes a lot of sense. I get that there's so many other logistical factors to it, and I think again that's commented on the cost and all that, which I can absolutely see, but it makes a hell of a lot of sense, and I think that does make it look better, because you forget, like, I mean, Motherwell's ground's only like what, 11,000 or something, and half of it's the away stand, because that's a huge stand. There's over 5,000. So no, I absolutely agree with that, man. I think that it would make too much sense.
Fair enough, man. Alibaba says, does that once again go to show that a 2-0 lead is a precarious one? Score a third and it's game over, but lose a goal and the momentum shifts. Hate to say it, when their first went in there was an inevitability about it. PS, add it as an edit, let's not overlook the great 4-3 win last Wednesday. Those were valuable points. Absolutely, mate. Hopefully we've covered that. Maury says, where does that one rank in losing a goal in the last minute to either of the Old Firm table? I think the game early in the season was worse due to the penalty injustice, and it's just behind Scott Brown one, because everybody hates Scott Brown. Felt inevitable yesterday. So what do you think? Where did that didn't he sting me as much? The Scott Brown one when we had Clark was bad when he ends up getting sent off.
And that was the first one where, remember, all the Celtic fans were running up to the Muffet stand and all that.
That was a bad
No, sorry. It was folk in the Muffet running up to the other, and you're like that. Come on, man. I'm not going to lie. I think yesterday's horrible, just because it's the 2-0 goal, the 2-0 lead that you chuck away.
And
I think it is minging. Because the difference being as well, even the Brown one was shite, but that was the first one they got over us for ages. We've beat them a few times, and I'm like, you were in safe. I'm not saying you're not in safe hands with McCann and Dodds, but you knew with Clark, you're like, we're bouncing back, this will be fine, kind of thing. It was just like, well, maybe we do that with the amount of, we had their number for the best part of about 18 months. So again, it's a painful question to try and answer.
As mate. Supermax says, gutted after Sunday, but here's the question: you can either beat Hearts, Celtic or Rangers 5-0 at Rugby Park, but the flip side is they do the same to you. Who are you choosing to beat the Ruggers?
Celtic, no doubt about it.
You're in a real hate for Celtic, man, aren't you?
And especially because
you get Brown Brogues on.
What'd
you have for your tea tonight? Succulent lamb?
Me and Spearsy, man. Mum did in Ireland for us, but other than just mainly because, I mean, you've been beat 5-0 at Parkhead and Ibrox anyway.
So you can take it.
You can absolutely absorb that, but particularly given the circumstances yesterday, it's got to be Celtic, man.
Definitely,
and we've got a worse record against Celtic than Rangers. So.
Definitely no Hearts anyway. Hearts, irrelevant Hearts. They'll finish fourth, right?
Hope so.
Fraz says, is it true that when the fourth officials ask referees how many minutes of injury time they're told until Celtic or Rangers score? I'm scunnered. I'm not getting back into the injury time thing.
Have you seen the mad stat though that Celtic have apparently had an hour's more?
I don't know if it's verified,
because it's Rangers Spurs that tweeted that one, and I find that quite hard to believe, but I just wanted to hint at misinformation there.
Right, this is for Rango Dog. Where is Klitschenko? Injured, unfit, or lost in the freezer aisle in Tesco? I just don't think he's fit enough, mate, and I don't mean in terms of like he could probably run a 5k in 20 minutes, but I just don't think he's up to speed in terms of the rough and tumble of the
I think that's it, and I give McCann alluded to that in his pressers, so I think that again he could still be a good couple of weeks away before he's ready.
There's so many questions here, mate, and we are not going to get through them all. Kelly Allen says the Celtic player who ran at the crowd should have been sent off, and should Celtic be fined for the supporters running to the pitch? Confidemus 1869, Confidemus. I'm never actually sure.
I'd say Confidemus.
Right. Sickening but predictable Celtic outcome. Main worry for me was the injury to TGG. You heard anything? Should Don be taken out defence? Mad Max in for United away. Absolutely, mate. Samuel says no question, but a shout out to the Muffet lads who made it onto TV yesterday. Good on them for turning up and supporting their team against the Old Firm when so many refused to go along. And there's all the wee guys there loving it, man.
Brilliant. Samuel's boyfriend centre.
Sensational, innit? Ali Mitchell 91 says, should we build a motor trench and fill it with crocodiles and piranhas in front of the Chadwick?
Very much appeases my medieval kind of fetishes.
Lust.
when I was being obsessed with weaponry and all that. So, absolutely. But build them out outside Flecky's house, man.
Aye, let's do it, man. I'm in. Prestel says absolute sickener, but positives are there. Under Kettlewell we were toothless and we deserved all we got. Under McCann we look hungry and aggressive. Are we capable of finishing 10th or above?
Yeah, I think we are, but I don't think we'll be to this spot until the split.
Aye, I think it's going to be really tight, man. Andy puts up the fixtures. We've got United away and Falkirk away, Dundee or Aberdeen away and Hibs at home, St Mirren or Motherwell home, Livy away. Could make a case that we have the hardest fixtures of the teams down in the middle. Am I assuming the worst case scenario? And he also says something about limiting the Old Firm fans. I'd be all for limiting Celtic or indeed all away fans to the back sections of the Chadwick. Maybe that's a solution. 2,000 tickets following the pitch invasions. Maybe something to think about there. But aye, in terms of the points, mate, so United away and Falkirk away, how many do you think we're getting?
It's tough, man.
Tough, innit? I'm going to say 4 points.
Seriously?
Aye. I think we'll draw and I think we'll beat Falkirk away.
I was thinking it would be 2 draws, man.
2 draws.
Which isn't a disaster, but we obviously need 1 game as it goes with it. But I think that as it's, and we appear to have Dundee United's number, but I always think that to the contrary with that, where I'm like, well, they'll be due to get something over us.
Kelly Six asks, just talking about the TJJ situation, gutted that Celtic scored so late, still believe we can take 7 for the next 3 games. My question for you boys is, after an outstanding Indian I had last night, what's your classic order at the Indians? Mine is lamb buna with rice and Peshwari naan. Sensational.
I'm boring when it comes to that.
I got a korma.
Oh, well, I know that boring right enough, man. But just like with naan breads. Right. I just like a plain naan.
Oh, do you?
Aye, brilliant, aye. Don't need to muck about with it, man.
No, I'd go with a korma, rice and a Peshwari naan, aye.
The exotic special at Exotic Kitchen's good.
My wife is in the Exotic Kitchen very regularly, and the guy who runs it's called Paul.
Oh, he's the nicest guy
and
in the
he's
planet.
such a sweetheart, man. And he's got new lovely hair. He got his hair done.
I know he had
a hair transplant.
See, Alison doesn't eat Indian, so I don't really get the opportunity.
Does she know?
No. So just mainly with Brown's team nights that we went to Exotic Kitchen all the time. But that was like a special curry basically. So it was like prawn, tikka, and what am I missing? Lamb.
Mel gets a lamb madras. That's what she loves, a
yeah.
lamb madras. A nice pint of Kingfisher, absolutely sensational, mate. Vanilla Dijon gets in touch. That's Greg. Yesterday was predictable and frustrating, but it's not the doom and gloom it could have been. No reason we can't go up to Tannadice and win. Going against the grain, but I predicted 6 minutes after we had 3 guys going down for lengthy periods, so the 7 wasn't surprising. The main worry is TJJ looked a sore one. Do you think Anderson and Hugo have the makings of a decent partnership? I'm
intrigued to see whether he maybe rethinks the system and goes Hugo with Curtis and maybe Kilty.
Either side.
But the big thing is, we're just raving about Kilty. It's because he's playing the 10. And I'm like, to go and I'm not saying playing on a left winger, but more go central, especially if Thompson's playing anyway, because Thompson's got to be playing high up the park. So, but again, I don't know.
Kelly number 1, and then we're going to jump on. We'll race through the questions on the Twitter. Do you think that the Kelly View podcast should make a return? After all, Reeves and Mortimer are not for everyone. Some folk actually like Mitchell and Webb. That begs the question: what's your ultimate comedy duo? Park Hotel asked a question that we don't want to speak about on here.
Nah,
because it's somebody else's story to tell.
It will be addressed in due course.
It very much will. But so Kelly View podcast, should it make a return?
Of course.
Why not? And after all, I love Reeves and Mortimer, and I love Mitchell and Webb too.
Aye.
Peep Show's sensational.
Aye.
And Shooting Stars is one of the all-time greats. Favourite comedy duo?
Well, if you're doing it with that, it's got to be Peep Show for me, Mitchell and Webb, man.
Aye.
But got to give a shout out to Larry David and Richard Lewis and anybody Funkhauser.
Funkhauser, man.
It's just Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Absolutely.
Well, or Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld would have been the obvious answer there.
Right, I'm going to go out very quickly and we'll try and blast through these. Hopefully there's no too many, man.
Nah, but I wasn't sure how many there
right, okay, we'll try and get through these as quick as we can. The Kelly View, there you go. Talking about the lads, we're good to have them back. 46, that's Sean Connery. 46 shots, 23 on target in the last 3 home games and 9 goals, 1 more than the previous 11 under the Ket and Doolan era. Very positive going forward. Get Stryke and Brandon back in the fold. Do you think we can sneak 10th?
Good call, right?
Aye. David Hanna, I think we're all a bit tired of this free jazz improv version of football played by Thompson. I'm all for personality, but right now we need reliable players, especially in defence. Can McCann get a tune out of him?
Oh, you've said exactly that.
Literally that, mate. You've put it in much better language. Boz Bus says, I see so much flair and creativity. I think we're going to climb the table positive vibes only. Mona Kelly.
Like that.
Gunnar Vance, one of the most handsome men I've ever seen. Does the performance over the last couple of weeks shine a light on how much of a shambles not getting McCann and Dodds in quicker was? Lots of winnable games in that period that we've missed out on.
Bit of both, so I absolutely agree with that. But the same way, the recruitment's been key in getting John Jules up to speed and all. But again, Hugo, Curtis, and just having options seems to be a hell of a lot better.
The real boy, they got in touch. The D's DT combo needs seriously addressed. D's probably has to play, but I'd be dropping DT immediately. What is he doing in added time shielding that ball? However, I do actually think we'll be fine. Best case, we avoid 11th, but I do think we'd win the playoff anyway. And then Cole Marnock, who is an old school name for back in the old forum days, said that he really rates Dom Thompson and all. So different drinks for different needs, as Stevie Donicky would say. He sent me a birthday present, Stevie, all the way from
as it came.
Aye. Brilliant man, just love the guy. Lee McNaught says, since we can't send Dominic to Coventry, should we send him to Ayr instead? Then he can piss about as much as he wants. Aye, poor Dom, man. Scott Watson, friend at Pod, says, if everyone in the squad is fully fit, what's the starting 11? I don't think we've had a full squad to pick from yet. Also, with the last minute goal, a real sickener, worst way to lose. But what's your favourite last minute winner for Achilles' side? So
again, the 11's a tough question, man. I don't think we can get through it. We still don't even know who can all play where, to be honest. But last minute winner, I mean, obviously Alston to win the league.
Aye. I'll take a bit of beating that, mate.
But again, for me, and not just because I'm in such an anti-Celtic mood, but don't want to say his name. But that never happens their way. That's the only time that's really. Folk will say, the Brophy hanging in that, but there's still a wee bit of time. But that was like Finlay Cedar was literally like the last touch of the ball, and we just that really never happens to us. But again, it was such an apparent sign during the Clark era.
Brilliant, man. It's nice to see him talking about the game and all that, wasn't it? Clark, you upset with him?
No, it's
just painful still, isn't it?
Just love him.
He's just the best, isn't he? Graham Johnson, friend at Pod, says, if you could swap out Roos, Dees or Thompson from that disaster of a backline, who are you swapping? He says DT.
I think that it's got to be Roos for me, and you've got to go, because you've got to base it off the fact of that period where Thompson, we were all saying he needs to get a new contract, and Stryjek was in net. So I think you go with that first, and then if you're talking second, then it's Thompson for me. But I think they try and get the goalie in and still a bit of confidence in the back four again. Alright.
Alan Agnew sent in his gripe. He was talking about rugby. I hate it with people who slag it. I want no names, Cal. Oh dear. They should bring in some of the rugby rules, like talking back to the refs. And as for the football forums, these days are brutal. I put that I wasn't very well, and I got a few reds. You get reddies for saying it was a real man. KillyFC.com forums is a jungle, mate. It's really scary.
I think it's brilliant though. I love how cutthroat it is, man. It's so harsh.
Somebody wrote the same thing twice, and no, it was Paul Gray. He wrote get somebody signed up now.
Aye. No, he said recall Brannan now.
Recall Brannan now for his loan, and it got 2 negatives, and then he wrote it again 2 minutes later and it got greens. It's a horrible place. He also says rugby's a man's game, not for wimps. I'll be back at the next home game. I'm in the hunt out for gripes. Hope you're feeling better, Alan. And he says get along to the Kelly women's games because they're going to win the league, and I agree, mate. They're doing very, very well indeed, man.
Great news.
And well done to Scotland for winning against England.
Aye, well, I thought Alan was going to say get along to the rugby there, and I was going to give him abuse, but no.
Greg Stevenson, recent performances give me belief that we'll finish 11th and stay in the league. A last minute loss to Celtic won't define the season. Very, very fair, mate. Dale Steele, that one. Hearts would rather get pumped 3-0 than lose in that manner. Individual errors by the same people killing us. Let's hope TJJ's injury isn't too serious. Him and Hugo look great together. David Craig says Dees and Brown swap sides fix the Dees Thompson issues. Second half exposed how weak that side is. TJJ being out for a long period could put the handbrake on a relegation. And have you ever seen a full batch of subs be so ineffective, mate? We covered that earlier on, but
all good points.
Loads of folk feel that way. Kyle Anderson says disappointed in the result. Great finish. Might only be me, but I thought Larson was excellent yesterday. Loads of folk feel that way, mate. Scott says it's not sustainable, the goals we're conceding. How have we erred in not getting an experienced centre back in January?
I know, and that's the thing. You mentioned, crying out for Stuart Finlay, Joe Wright, and we don't even mean ability-wise. Of course, we can't compete with that level, like at times, but it's a case of we need the experience. We need the guy that's went and played 250 games, 300 games, that knows how to see out games, and we've just not got it at the moment. And especially when you've got such an exciting prospect like Shelty Brown coming through, you need that bit of guidance with him. And I feel for Dees as well, because I think he looks a lot better next to an experienced partner, or the middle of a three with an experienced guy in there. It's just, Aye, the recruitment side's let us down with that.
Definitely. Galak, get in touch. Neil McCann has my heart. I love him. The way he got torn into that fucking mouse Dackers for jogging about like the big blouse that he has, I love that. I know defence and goalie is shaky, but I have 90% belief in us avoiding the playoffs. Also really like Larson. Well done, Skitterwell. There we go. Aye, fair play, man. Kettlewell brought in TJJ and Larson.
Aye,
He's got an eye for a player.
The Messiah, man.
Bring him back. What is he, the prodigal son?
Aye, and the Messiah.
And the Messiah,
Aye.
a bit of
But
both.
see, they could beat the weekend.
Aye. Scott Allison says, if Brandon is even 80% fit and Larson gets played in a natural left back position, I don't think Thompson should ever wear the blue and white stripes again. Gregor says, sickener yesterday after a great first half. TJJ is a star. Can you see us finishing in the playoff places after that collapse?
Such a horrible one, and when things just started out, and don't get me wrong, the beliefs there, like with the way we're playing, but you're just like, when you've got John, you're like, this, he's the difference, and then you're like, oh, here we go, man.
It's a potentially a season defining 20 minutes that, but we'll see. Callum McGee got in touch. Hello, mate. We've now conceded 2 or more in 19 games out of 27 this season in the league. 11 times we've conceded 3+. Roos needs to come out, max in. Thompson, for me, a total liability and should be treated that way. Conceded 64 last season, 11 games left, and we've conceded 54 already. Ugh, no great reading, mate. And Brent Stewart says, worst case that we hope doesn't happen, but with TJJ going off and he ends up for the rest of the season, would you offer him a contract just now? Not ideal being stuck with loads of injury prone players, but he seems like too big a talent.
Let's hope
we've heard there's maybe good news coming there. We can't confirm it, we're not in a position to do so, but fingers crossed. And if he can get fit, we've got a footballer.
It would be unbelievable,
in
man.
our hands.
And again, especially how good, again, that's the best news scenario. Now, if we come out and it's a 4-5 week thing, you're like, brilliant.
Yes.
And then you know that he's got to be here next season.
Right, we'll get rattled through the old all roads. First, before we do it, thank you everybody for contributing. We really appreciate it. We don't say that lightly. Bit of bad news in the support. A lot of folk were devastated when the news broke that Matt had passed away, who's a mate in Tromso, absolute top man. Never nice when one of the Kelly family departs, and you'll have noticed all the tributes across social media to him. Great guy, so thoughts out to his family and his nearest and dearest, obviously. And then a word for everybody travelling up to Dundee this weekend, getting behind the team. I think we'll take a big support up there, mate. And it would be nice on an away day like that to get that win in his memory. I'm confident we'll do it. What's your prediction for Saturday?
Still think it'll be a draw, man, but I really like what you're saying there, man. It's got me believing a bit more that, I mean, if we come out and we win on Saturday, you're just thinking, right, I believe that we all have this tendency to just go and get ourselves out of this. Be interesting to see how we react to the way that we lost the game yesterday.
Aye.
And also with the news and John Jules to see how we react to that. If we come out and get a win on Saturday, then it's huge, but it's huge for so many reasons.
I agree, mate. Right, all roads lead to Kelly. We're trying to raise a wee bit of money for the food banks who do incredible work outside the East Stand every home game. If you're able to donate, please do. It's very important. And we're raising a wee bit of cash to help them out with that. So we've got 3 career paths for 3 ex-Kelly players. I'm going to give them to Cal. We're going to guess it, and if we get it right, we'll add some more money to the pot.
Aye.
Simple as that. Right, you ready, mate?
And either way, if I embarrass myself, we'll just donate the money anyway.
Aye. I like that. You ready? Right.
Yes.
First player. Excelsior, Groningen, Feyenoord, ADO Den Haag, Kilmarnock.
Danny Bush.
Danny Bush.
Aye.
Danny Bush.
Well, Doricky will be able to tell us how.
Aye. Danny Bush.
He's one that I think that he could have easily made an appearance in a few Patreons with regards to like no fulfilled potential, but like an underrated. You knew that he had a bit of class about him.
He was good, wasn't
he just couldn't stay fit.
Number
9, but played kind of right back.
Upset me slightly. He really enjoyed Dean Schulz's winner against Ayr, if I remember.
Aye, that's
he was
right.
part of the celebrations, wasn't he?
And he had the Lance Storm haircut.
He had the land very high and tight, mate. No fucking about in the barbers. Right, ready? Next one is Malmo, Rangers, Gothenburg, Young Boys, Uerdingen, Atalanta, Hellas Verona, Malmo, Young Boys, Kilmarnock. Played for Kelly in 96-97.
Pritz or something?
Robert Pritz.
Aye.
Robert Pritz, and then went on to play with Dumbarton, Cowdenbeath, East 5 and Pollock when he was 40. He played 60 games for Pollock. Ledge, man. Looked very tired, looked exhausted, Robert Pritz. Danny McCluskey, like Robert Pritz.
Aye.
Just his type of guy.
Aye. With regards to what?
Don't know, just the lore of Robert Pritz, but he looked exhausted. But I meant to be a right good player. He was nearly done when he came to us. Right, and the last one is Zaragoza, Wolves, Villarreal, Cordoba, Airdrie and Kilmarnock.
Your mate?
I've not got any mates.
Midfielder? Centre mid? No, wait. I'm stuck.
Wait. Oh. It's 50-50, mate.
So, no, I don't know. I think I'm.
Zaragoza,
Yeah.
Wolves,
When did they play with Kelly?
2001 to 2003.
San Juan.
San Juan.
Aye.
Shine, Jesus, shine. What a player, by the way. Played sweeper. Tremendous football player. There we go.
That's just no opposition, man.
Go to the more. I know, mate. Aye. Different days, mate. Right, that'll do us because we're well over time here. Thank you sincerely, everybody, for listening. We really, really appreciate it. Big game again. They're all going to be big now at the end of the season. Let's hope for good news on Tyrese, John Jules. Hopefully the injury's not too bad, and it would be nice if the rumour is true and he has signed an extension because he's a hell of a footballer.
Indeed he is, and I liked your wee comment.
Quite funny, isn't it?
Can be.
Aye. Right, okay, mate. Thank you very much for coming and picking me up, and thanks for your company.
Thank you.
I hope everybody's enjoyed the show, and we'll be back next week to discuss Dundee United and Falkirk. Okay, have a nice week, everybody. Take care of yourself. Bye.